It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
Good morning. It's the KQ Morning Show for May 29th. That song, Remedy, go figure. Hey, look, I didn't choose to play that. I just walked in and it was on. And I don't know what you were doing in December 1991, but, man, I was laying down a groove, huh?
You was grooving.
I literally haven't heard that song in forever. Like, wow. That's all right. Nice. And that is exactly, but it's a good segue because we come in the morning. What was the remedy for the Minnesota Timberwolves? Finishing. Fourth quarter execution. Go figure.
Ant said it too. He said that the difference is I was aggressive.
Yeah, get aggressive.
Took him 4 games to figure that out.
It did, as it does. It just goes to show how close the Timberwolves are to a 2-2 series right now. It should be 2 games to 2. You could make the argument, and I would have as a much younger fan, it should be 3-1 Wolves. But, the point is, those first 3 games, 2 of the first 3 were just games of inches. And last night, we finally saw it come back the way we'd been hoping for. Big night for Ant, and most importantly, Karl Anthony Towns, who remembered how to play basketball. It was nice to see. 25 points for Cat. Ant with 9 assists in the second half alone. Very, very, very nice to see those two wake up and play basketball to the level which we have all become to expect from them. So that was great. It was a huge win. They're coming back for Game 5. I'm not about to sit here and say this is now a real honest-to-God series. But that said, who am I kidding? I think Dallas is going to win Game 5. I think Dallas is just going to come back, just completely pissed off that they have to come all the way back to Minnesota when they could be just home for the next 5 days.
Oh, they were mad at the end of the game.
Not happy at all. I mean, you think about it. You have till next week in the NBA Finals against Boston if you win last night, and now it's like, and I realize they're flying in a very nice plane and staying in very nice hotels, and they have someone bringing them their food, and a masseuse shows up, and they have. It's not like you or me are going and hopping on a Southwest flight to Dallas for the next game, but still at this stage of the game, after all the games they've played at this stage of the season, I should say, I know that's not at all what they were hoping for. So well done, Timberwolves. Very exciting to see them. And by the way, the body language alone, just the body language in the last 4 minutes, you can see it on the Wolves. They were confident. They had that, screw it. I mean, it's like every game in the playoffs is you got to play it. Kat said after the game, you got to play it like it's Game 7 every game. And to your point, Zeb, okay, took you 3 games to figure it out, but they did figure it out. And right now, you got to feel a little bit better moving forward. I think, if nothing else, at least for themselves, for their own psyche and central nervous system of the Timberwolves, it's not all hype. This series could so easily be tied at 2-2, and if it were, we'd be looking at Game 5 as the portal to the NBA Finals. We're not, and I don't think it's going to happen, but it was nice to see a win, if nothing else.
The rally begins.
Ant Jr. himself tweeted yesterday, it's all about making history. Just because no one else has ever done it. Ant Jr. is, of course, Anthony Edwards' dog,
right? Who's
got a great Twitter account if you're not following, and Instagram. You got to love a man whose dog handles all of his social media for him. I just, that's to me pretty fantastic. That was the first game for Kyrie Irving ever in the playoffs. Every time he's ever had a closeout game, meaning if he's in a series and that game can put the other team away, he was 14-0. He'd never lost a game in that situation. Yeah. He's now 14-1. That was shocking. He had, for him, a low night, only 6 points. I'm sorry, 16 points. He was 1 of 6 from behind the arc. That probably won't happen again. So thankfully, when he's off, we did get the win. All right. I'm done now. I've had my Timberwolves fix. I'm feeling it. I'm excited. Zepp, any thoughts? I know you were up late. I know you were putting on that third pot of coffee as the fourth quarter started.
I was. It went into overtime. We're talking about the Rangers and Panthers, right?
Oh, that's right.
Who's going to clinch first, the Stars or the Mavericks? Dallas just has it going on right now. Those pukes.
I forgot all about the fact that there was hockey playoffs happening too. See, that's the kind of hockey fan I am. When my team's out, I just assume the season's over.
I do too, for the most part. But I don't know why I have this thing for the Rangers. It goes back to my childhood, but not that they're my favorite team. But no, I caught a little bit of that. To be honest with you, I did space the Timberwolves were playing last night, but I'm excited for Game 5.
Yeah, I see there. I love the way that sentence was like, I'm excited. Forget
Well, wouldn't it be something, though, if they came back and won it and made this historical drive to the finals? That would be something.
The Celtics did it last year. They at least got to Game 7 after being down 3-0 to the Heat, but then, of course, did not finish. It wouldn't be there are 4 times that it has gone to 7 games when a team's down 3-0, but still no one's ever done it. That would be something. I tell you what, I'd be terrified for the Timberwolves if they do come back and win this series, because how would you possibly then get yourself motivated for another series? Like, this is climbing Everest right now. And then you're supposed to go, what, I'm supposed to get excited about Mount Olympia? Oh, whatever. I've done Everest. That's right. I forgot. Money. Lots of stuff to get into today on the KQ Morning Show. Very much appreciate everybody being with us. Work nightmares down the road a little bit. Sports and music history down the road. A lot of the usual things. We're giving away tickets to the KQ Karaoke Cruise. Whoo, baby. Let's have some fun. Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Wednesday, May 29th. This would normally be the time we have the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Mike did not file a report today. He's got a massive power outage out west where he is. So he'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, the most watched TV series of the 23-24 TV season, the top 10 most watched series, not on streamers, but on network television. Well, some of this is with streamers, but it's mostly network. Pretty fascinating in that it's not fascinating at all. The number 1 show last year, Sunday Night Football. 19.4 million people every game, which means way more. That's how many sets apparently were turned to it, but a lot more people per game. The second most watched series, Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
The third, Thursday Night Football. I mean, what? That's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Literally 1, 2, and 3. Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday night. The NFL might as well just add teams and play 7 days a week, and then all of television just goes away
eventually.
Well, network television. Are these? I wonder how these numbers stack up against the big streaming shows.
Oh, I don't know. If you can believe what Netflix says, like when they have a big hit, like Baby Reindeer was something like 1 billion minutes of that were watched every week for 7 straight weeks or some crazy thing. But the idea that live sports on television is now really the only thing we will tune into, appointment TV, because, in the old days, you used to be able to VHS or DVR a game and you could avoid finding out who won. That's just no longer possible. If you just don't look at your phone ever, and if you don't take a call and don't get a text, maybe. But yeah, there's just too many spoilers. So live sports, it's funny. I think probably 20 years ago, you might have looked at it and thought that's going to wane because people have all these choices. But what it turns out is you can only get the experience. This is one of the few things left that it's real drama. Whether you're a sports fan or not, how many times do you get to watch something where you literally have to wait in real time to see what happens?
That's a good point.
I think
I'm trying to think of the last time I watched a sporting event in real time. But yeah, no, you're right. It's there's all that exists, I guess. But yeah, football is king. Everyone, but no other sports show up on this, huh?
Well, the number 4 most watched show is Tracker, which I've never heard of until I just said the word Tracker. It's on CBS. I have no idea what that is. NCIS heard of it. Young Sheldon heard of it. FBI heard of it. Chicago Fire, Blue Bloods. Never seen 1 minute of any of those shows.
No, me neither.
Number 10, 60 Minutes. Still watch it, but not in real time. It's
still on.
Oh yeah, and it's still great, and it's still. I record it, and I will get to it throughout the week. I watch 60 Minutes every week. It's fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
Hey man, don't shoot the messengers up. 60 Minutes is still where it's at.
I wouldn't know.
I still get that going back to school or going back to work jitters when I hear that.
It's lifelong. It's immediate ennui, and just it's bittersweet. It's just oh man, that's why I don't watch it on Sunday night. I just have it on on the DVR, and then I can go back and watch. Yeah, I don't watch every single report every week, but I watch a lot of it because it's kind of like The Simpsons. You forget, and then you watch it, and you're like, hey, this is still good. Who knew?
Yeah.
Shocking. Hey, let's look back. On this day, May 29th, 1985, in the world of European soccer, an absolute tragedy in Brussels. The European Championship game between Juventus of Italy and Liverpool. An hour before kickoff, a riot in the crowd. Liverpool fans attacking Juventus fans. Long story short, 600 hospitalized, 39 people killed. At a soccer game. It was it's just unfathomable that this used to happen. This was the height of hooliganism, especially from British soccer fans, but other countries had plenty of bad eggs too. The result of this, amongst other things, other than, more importantly, the 39 people that died, all English soccer clubs were banned from bringing fans to Europe or even playing in UEFA championships for 5 years.
Okay.
If an English team went and played a game in Europe, none of their fans could attend. Like they changed the way borders worked. English soccer fans were identified. They had checklists. I mean, it was a real thing.
It's like
shocking.
World War II. Yeah.
And then you look at the Premier League now, and it's the crown jewel of world sporting leagues.
Right.
But 40 years ago, it was the exact opposite. Just an absolute nightmare.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
We all have, what are they called? Jobs. Yeah, this is a job. We literally do this for a living. Go figure. And you might think like, well, what could possibly be nightmarish about working in radio? Not a whole lot, but that doesn't mean we don't have work nightmares, like literal nightmares. Everybody at some point in their life wakes up in the morning having already served a term in hell, a work nightmare that you're just trying to get out of, and then your alarm wakes you up and you're like, oh my God, now I got to go to work. I'm just trying to get out of this work. We all have them. There are 8 that are the most common. And I'm curious. Let's just run down the list. Have we all had these? Number 1 on the list, this really surprised me, is sex with a coworker. 60% of people say they've had the... Why? First of all, why is it a nightmare?
Yeah, why a nightmare? Well, it depends on the coworker, I guess.
I guess it depends on the coworker
if you
and the
didn't
context.
get your rocks off, if it was, they did, but you didn't, if they were a selfish lover. I suppose.
That'd be a nightmare.
Didn't end with a nice spooning,
It's all about you. It's never us. And then your alarm goes off. And you look at the guy across the counter a little differently that morning.
Did you ever ask me what pleases me? Yeah, right.
I do. Whatever dream and or nightmare, I mean, I'm the kind of guy, I'll carry that mood throughout the day. It takes me a while to shake it off. Mm-hmm. And my wife is the kind of person who will wake up and be mad at me about something she just dreamed about. She will literally go, you were so mean to me in this dream I had. And I just leave. I'm like, okay, well, this is silly. This is you. I'm not a part of this. But that said, I understand the feeling because I will get shook on something. I'm trying to be the sex with a coworker nightmare / dream. If I've ever had it, it was so long ago I don't remember it. And I do remember my dreams. I mean, I wake up and usually remember. But if I have had it, it didn't feel nightmarish. It probably felt pretty darn dreamy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm really racing through it. I feel like I should have. I've only had sex dreams about coworkers I think that I've had sex with.
Okay, so that's
if we've already done the deed, then I think that's a couple pop into my head. But otherwise, I haven't had that one. I often have. I think my work. I guess it's a nightmare, but I can't get out of the building. I've tried and tried and tried, and I just can't find the exit. Or one thing leads to another, and I just can't get out of the damn building. And I keep, ducking down different hallways, avoiding people, trying to get out of the damn building, finding a window that'll open.
That's rough.
Feeling a little trapped. Those young fella.
Yeah. That you describing that just kind of elevates my heart rate. I can completely imagine that dream / nightmare.
That's working from home. I can't get out of the house.
Well, Dr. Freud might say.
I used to have the dead air one, but that's been a long time now. I don't seem to mind it so much, but it used to be terrifying, just the thought of dead air. I couldn't get on the radio. The buttons weren't working. Someone didn't put it in pre-delay. That's kind of funny that actually happened this morning.
It happened.
Used to be,
I lived my one nightmare. The only radio nightmares I've ever had, and it's funny because I still have to remind myself. Oh, I've been doing this like 15 years now. It's not like I'm brand new. I mean, this is kind of a long time thing, clearly. But in my brain, I have drumming nightmares all the time. That will forever be my work nightmare.
Okay.
I've never slept with a coworker in my musical career, so I don't have that to concern myself with. But I do have the equivalent of the pre-delay button not being pushed down for radio. I have the nightmare on a regular basis. There's two drumming nightmares. The first is that I'm actually sitting in a drum kit, and it's set up for someone whose arms are like 9 feet long. Like I can't reach the cymbals.
Oh, funny.
I can't, and the snare drum is really far over to my left, and I'm trying to hit that, and I can't play the hi-hat. And then the floor tom is fallen. It's just like a funhouse drum kit. And I'm out on stage, and I remember very specifically, very linear, nothing weird dream where the band REM was like, they had reunited with their original drummer Bill Berry, and I'm a huge REM fan, and they asked me to come sit in on one. So it's like, oh my God, I'm going to sit in with REM, and that drum kit was falling apart, and they're all looking at me like my favorite band from my teens and early 20s, and they're all mad at me on stage, and I could not wake up from it. It went on for like 3 days, it felt like. And it was at the Omni in Atlanta. Everything about it was so realistic. Wow. It was traumatizing. And then the other dream I have, and I still have this one pretty regularly. I mean, every couple months I have a dream that is directly related. I am always in the dressing room about to play a gig with the Black Crowes, my former band. And it's the same thing every time. I'm looking at a set list and I'm going, I don't even know these songs. And it's like literally, it's that moment when everyone's doing their last thing before going on stage. Yeah. And it's always very real. A couple guys are taking that, quick last pee before the gig, get a drink, get a beer, check out, making sure everything's cool. And I'm standing in the middle and I have two thoughts. First is, I don't know these songs. And the second is, why am I back? How did I get here? I'm not in this band anymore. And it's like, what happened? And I'm like, and everyone's acting like it's normal. So in the dream, I'm like, okay, just act normal, go to the stage. And then I'll look at someone, I'll go, how does this song start? And like, literally, they're looking at me like, what's the matter with you?
That's great.
And those I wake up from. I will pop myself awake and go, get out of that. But and I imagine that's just general anxiety about life, but it always puts itself in there. I guess the day I start having regular radio nightmares is when I'm fully... I've left behind that part of it, I guess. How about this? The nightmare of being late, just simply being late. I have the one where, like you are trying to get out of the building. I'm driving and like everything, every road, every parking space, like nothing goes my way. I've had those for sure. But it's not necessarily about getting to work. It's just general. I just can't get to where I'm trying to be. Getting fired. I've never had that nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes
maybe
it's a
when I was
blessing.
young. Yeah, it's not something I wish upon because, now I'm old enough that I would just quit and move on if it made me that unhappy. But, getting blown out, once it's happened enough in your life, you just realize it's not the end of the world, No,
you got to go through it like a breakup, getting your heart broke.
Yeah, right now. I mean,
you need a main till you go through that.
Right.
Wow. Being naked at work. I don't think I've had the naked at work. I've had the being naked in public dream, sure.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Well, some more than others. Again, going back to Zeps, I dream about the coworkers I've actually slept with. You having appeared in public nude many times in your actual life, you have a tendency to dream about that. Do you, Tony? Do you have like heroic superhero dreams where you're not just streaking, but you're the best streaker ever, or you're streaking in a way that you never could have imagined as a younger man?
I've had. I do have hero dreams of rescuing people.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I've had a couple. Yeah.
Your balls are showing.
Well, that's why I'm chilly.
That's what it is. But so you're rescuing people, but you don't have the dream where you come in before kickoff at like a Vikings game on a hang glider, but you're naked and the crowd is cheering.
Oh my God!
He's hung like a draft horse, Tony. They're all cheering.
Oh man!
Purple smoke coming from your wrist monitor, your ankle bracelet thing.
That's where the smoke is coming from.
Yeah.
Wait, so let's go to these hero dreams.
Yeah.
Like saving orphans from a burning building. What are we doing?
Yeah, like diving and saving a kid from being run over by a truck, or swooping in on a big vine and rescuing Rachel or some maiden in distress.
Wow, nice. But no time machine and baby Hitler type stuff. Okay. Just wondering.
Revenge.
Ever have the dream, where you kill your boss?
No.
4% of people said, yes, I've had that dream before. That's
dark. That's
a quick U-turn. Like, wait, sorry, what? Dreaming of, I've had dreams where I've been in fights. I have definitely had dreams where I am kicking the living snot out of somebody who deserved it. But I don't believe I've ever gone so far as to murder someone in a dream of mine. That's pretty intense, man.
I can't hurt people in my dreams. It's very frustrating. That's the frustration in the dream. I think, like, if I get into a fight, I really slow motion punching them. I just can't really connect, It's just...
I've had that too.
I don't think I've ever had the dream where I tried to kill someone and I couldn't kill them, but I know the fight ones, I don't think I've had dreams where I harm people.
I've had
daydreams, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, waking dreams. I've definitely had dreams where I was hurting people, but like I said, it was never. It's they had done something terrible. It's like self-defense. But I also have had the dream, since you said that, where like you're just trying to throw a punch and it won't connect.
Yeah, it's like you're underwater.
Yeah. Or just simply trying to flee, like you're trying to run from something.
I know.
When I was a little kid, I started. I used to have this dream. This is 10, 11, 12 years old stuff, where I was on my elementary school playground and I was running from a tornado, a Steve-sized tornado. It was like my personal tornado. No one else cared. It was like right behind me. It was the same height as me, but I just couldn't run fast enough. And I was like, "Why are you gotta get away?" Which, by the way, that it's like, "Hey, Steve, that tapping on your shoulder might be your psyche trying to tell you something." It's like,
that's interesting.
I'm 12 and I have a tornado chasing just me. Never thought to mention that to an adult.
I wonder. Dream interpretation. It's always so. It's usually probably obvious and right in front of us, but dreams get so weird. I think they must mean something else. I go a little Tony. I think there's got to be something something deeper, a meaning there. Maybe someone trying to communicate with me, but it never really is. It's just probably that I.
The mozzarella.
Too many edibles before bed, yeah.
That could certainly
Too
do
much
it.
Spaghetti, perhaps. Yeah, really.
If there's any justice in the world, we will all sleep tonight with a vision of Tony hang gliding nude into a Vikings game with purple smoke billowing from his ankle monitor.
It could happen.
The Viking helmet on, the whole thing.
2 Viking helmets, if you see what I'm saying.
Right?
Well, from Tony's nude hang gliding. Oh my God! And he's having gas. What's that horn called? That's the is it the the Gallahorn.
Yes,
the Gallahorn. Now, okay, just to complete the image. Okay, Tony in the Viking helmet, and then in the little Viking helmet, and then the Gallahorn and the purple smoke, the hang glider. And as soon as he lands, a bald eagle comes up right to that clutch on his hand, like, Rah! Oh man, that's great. Now we're talking.
And hands me a Pop-Tart.
Hands Tony a Pop-Tart. And then the governor gives him an award for saving somebody on the way in. This is great.
This is doable.
This is totally doable. If it's not a dream we'll all have, can we at least get a budget to shoot this film?
Yeah, right. Well,
Tony
CGI.
Lee as Tony Lee. Oh, yeah, he's got to play himself in that one. That's fantastic. Hey, if you ever want to catch up on the KQ Morning Show, you can do it with our podcast. Anywhere you get podcasts, anytime you want. That podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies. Devani's Pizza and Hot Hoagies, you can strap on a feed bag real easily there. Now, I wouldn't suggest going as far as, say, a certain local competitive eater goes, but seriously, if you make it to Devani's, you're going to have a good time. And speaking of local competitive eaters and feed bags, holy crap, do we have an update for you? Hang tight.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line, 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. That was Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down, which I guess could be a theme song for a guy named Randy Santel, who is a competitive eater. He is a YouTube personality, as they say. I tune into competitive eating like, 4th of July. I see the Nathan's hot dog thing every year. Yeah. And I watch Joey Chitwood, or whatever his name is, Jimmy Chitwood. And Kobayashi, and then a bunch of other guys who never come close to winning. And that's about as much as I know about this. But there's a guy, as I said, Randy Santel was in St. Cloud last night. He went to a place called Up and Smoke Barbecue. And the challenge was to see if he could handle their new barbecue platter challenge. This was the challenge. A rack of ribs, 1 pound of smoked beef brisket, a half pound of pulled pork, a half pound of pulled chicken, 3 chicken wings, 2 cornbreads, and a pound of sides. That's in one. That's in one sitting. This dude is from Missouri. He's won over 1,250 food challenges in his career. He has been to 40 countries and all 50 states to competitively eat. Man, this is astounding. By the way, so there's a post on Facebook, and he said last week he beat something in Waconia called the Double Belt Buster Burger Challenge. Just like, this is a real way of getting through the world, just competitively eating. He ate a 30-inch monstrosity pizza challenge. A 30-inch pizza is so large.
I mean,
like 30 inches.
So it's just crazier. That pizza has 10. Wait, it says taking on the pizza with more than 10 pounds of cheese.
10 pounds. Oh my gosh.
I mean, how much raw fiber can one man put down after eating 10 pounds of cheese? As much as it takes, I guess. So anyway, again, last night, the barbecue challenge up in St. Cloud, and then it was live on Facebook, and he pulled it off. I mean, I've been watching the video of him putting this stuff down. He started in the video right at about the 28-minute mark. After getting ready, he starts eating, and he's just wolfing. And if you fast forward, he's standing there having his last sip, finishing up at about the hour 11 mark. So a little less than an hour, or like 40 minutes of just wolfing down. We all know someone who can eat a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Hell, when I was in college, I used to think I could eat a lot, and I could, but nothing like this. This is crazy, and like most competitive eaters, he doesn't look, he's not a giant man.
No.
It just goes
astounding.
Looks kind of fit, really.
Yeah.
It's not eating, it's cramming.
Yeah, but all that's going in there. Yeah. 10 pounds of cheese, and I don't know, do you just take a diuretic? Is it, some sort of supplement, and you just blast it all out? Or your body's got to put some of that somewhere? You just hit the treadmill when you're not eating, you're on a treadmill? Or I don't understand the science, the physiology behind this.
The different metabolism.
Yeah. Because I love to eat and I want to keep eating, and I eat way too much, and I have to tell myself, Brian, you can't just keep eating all day like this. But they do. They get away with it. They've turned it into a profession. I'm very jealous.
I did this thing last week. I was at a restaurant, and I was like, I feel about 80% full, and they say I should stop. And I did, and it worked. And I was like, wow, it took me almost 59 years to figure that one out. Don't eat until you're in pain. Shocking theory.
No, I know, but I never feel good about that.
I grew up on a
physical.
I grew up in a clean your plate family. That was all it was. Just better eat everything. And it's a hard habit to break, man. For me, dessert was just a second helping of the main. Like, I didn't have a sweet tooth, but have some more of that chicken pot pie. Thank you very much. Zepp, Kobayashi, you mentioned him.
Yeah.
Is retired.
Yeah, right.
Recently,
just retired,
there's a Netflix documentary, Hack Your Health, The Secrets of Your Gut, and he was talking about it. Listen to these quotes. I hear people say they're hungry, and they look very happy after they've eaten. I'm jealous of those people because I no longer feel hunger. His wife said,
"Go away."
His wife said he thinks he might be broken. He never feels hungry or full. He literally doesn't feel those things at all. Man, that is absolutely astounding. 651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talk and text line. Feel free to get in touch if you would like. Tony, we have a caller.
Jim from Chaska has a fun fact.
Jim from Chaska. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. So I was watching this, the Nathan's contest the one time a couple years ago, and they had a thing on before it. They talked about how these competitive eaters do it. Well, if you watch them at Nathan's, they got that cup of water.
Yep.
Well, they dip the bun in the water in the hot dog to get it soft, and they really don't chew it. They swallow it whole.
Yeah.
And in order to be a competitive eater, your body after 20 minutes says, "Hey, I'm full. Don't feed me anymore." So that's why you see all these guys when they eat the 96 ouncer, you have to eat as much as you can in the first 20 minutes before your body says, "Hey, I'm starting to get full." And then you do what they call the reversal of fortune, aka puking. So if the more you can get into your body in that first 20 minutes on these things, the better of a chance you'll have to finish it. But 10 pounds of cheese, that's a lot of cheese.
Right, yeah.
It is.
So I get how they do it. They put it in their mouth and they swallow it. Sure, there's the tricks like the water, and you have to eat it fast in the first 20 minutes. I constantly have someone saying, "Brian, you'd eat less if you'd slow down and chew fast." Yeah, I get that. But how does their body process 10 pounds of cheese? I feel like if I put 10 pounds of cheese in me, I would be dead.
I have no idea. They didn't go into that. I'm sure it's probably that they probably have to go away somewhere to the bathroom, or they actually literally just throw it up then because they can't process it. So it's crazy.
Yeah,
man. Thank you for the call, Jim. We appreciate it. I when I was in school, there was a Domino's held a thing on campus. It was like, who can eat a 12-inch cheese pizza the fastest? Yeah. And my buddy Steve Johnson was like, "Come on, man." We were walking by. He goes, "Let's do it. Let's sign." I mean, it was literally they're setting it up, and you could just sign up. And I was like, "Sure, I'll try." What? I have literally nothing better to do than to try to stuff 12-inch cheese pizza down my gut.
Free pizza.
And of course, I'm the idiot who I get up there. There's like 10 of us in a row when they finally start, and I start wolfing it down, and I look at my buddy, and he takes one bite, just sets it down, and he's like, his whole thing was, "Yeah, I'm just going to take this back to my room now." He didn't even try it. I was like, "Oh, I can't believe it." I'm like, I got about half of it down before I realized what was going on. I was like, "Oh, I'm an idiot."
He gamed the system. You guys remember when they had the 3 elephants take on the 3 human beings in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest?
I don't.
No. You don't remember that one? I got a little clip of that news story. It was a bunch of years ago, maybe more than 10.
3 Asian elephants took on 3 Nathan's hot dog competitors to see which team could eat the most hot dog buns in 6 minutes. Bunny, Susie, and Minnie were the champions, eating a combined 505 buns for the humans' 143 buns.
Oh, yeah. Well, you would expect
I would hope
elephants to kick our asses on that deal right there, but yeah, I don't know, man.
Kobayashi said in the documentary, by the way, he's had over 10,000 hot dogs in his career. Wow. I love that it's a career. I mean, this is literally what these guys do for a living. He won the mustard yellow belt consecutively from 2002 to 2006 at the hot dog eating contest. Joey Chitwood. Joey Chestnut.
Yeah. Chestnut was a drag racer.
That's right. Chitwood, listen to me again, Chestnut, wow, held the title from 7 to 14, 16. God, these guys have been doing this for 20, 25 years. That's got to be, the long-term impact on your digestive tract. I mean, it's just, if you just have a glass of water, your whole body must be like, "Oh, thank God, just please. Yes, thank you."
Oh, your poor colon.
I wonder. Oh my God.
There's some images online that show what it does to your body to eat that many. It's talking about the hot dogs, and much like a pregnant woman, the baby in the womb, it pushes all of their organs into their upper chest category. Yeah, this moves all of your organs, about the size of a. They say somewhere between a 4 to 5 pound baby. That's the size it would consume in your torso, I guess.
Oh my God!
And then you've got to move that through. Yeah, I would think back out. Are they allowed to I mean, do they have to keep it down for so long, or can they just run off and blow chunks?
I think they got to keep it down. I mean, we've all had there's at least once in everyone's life you come out of the bathroom and say, I just gave birth to a food baby. But this is like legitimately what these guys are giving birth to. That is just outstanding. Speaking of Kobayashi, being from Japan, Kit Kat, the candy bar, we have, if you're a Kit Kat fan, you buy it. What is it? It's just chocolate, some of that little nougat and caramel, and it's
wafer.
Just a perfect little wafer, and you split it open and you give one to your friend and you have one, and then you both feel good about yourselves. If you go to Japan, there are multiple 19 Kit Kat flavors in Japan that have never made it over to our shores. Green tea Kit Kat, strawberry Kit Kat, sake Kit Kat. Brian, sake Kit Kat. That's singing your language.
Yeah, like it. I don't think I'd eat the Kit Kat. Just I like shrimp, someone brought me back some shrimp hard candy from Japan. I like shrimp. I like candy.
Yeah.
I didn't so much like the shrimp hard candy.
Did you ever go for the prawn crisps, the potato chips in England that are prawn flavored?
No, I didn't get those.
Big thing over there.
That sounds good.
Yeah. I don't know. I never could. I love chips. I like shrimp, but I didn't like the combination. There is a wasabi Kit Kat that you can buy in Japan.
Look out.
Man, sweet potato. Matcha, red bean, even purple sweet potato. Good Lord.
I like matcha.
Getting after it.
Mercy, I don't speak Japanese.
Do they not like chocolate? I mean, what can we do to overpower this awful chocolate taste? Because I just feel like chocolate really covers it, Or maybe if you want to throw a little caramel in there.
Yeah, the whole kind of point is the chocolate, but let's see if we can get rid of the chocolate from the Kit Kat bar.
All right. Well,
by the way, that I would try that wasabi one because I like chocolate covered hot things. I like that combination. Yeah. I will say this: having been to Japan a few times, what they call wasabi and what we call wasabi are two very different things.
Yeah.
The wasabi in Japan is on fire, literally.
Yeah, they get their wasabi. It's a root. It's much like the horseradish root that we have here in the United States. Wasabi, the root, but it's an actual root that grows in like one stream in Japan. So it's very difficult to get, very expensive. But so if you go to your local grocery store and go into the Asian section, they'll have wasabi, tubes of wasabi paste.
Yep.
That's about 25% wasabi, and it tastes far different than the colored horseradish that you're getting in just about everywhere you go for sushi in the United States. But you get that stuff, and that's got a completely different texture and taste to it, and really will fire up your sinuses, and that's 25%.
I watched a member of our crew take a serving spoon, like not a tablespoon, but the next size up, the one you would like happily dollop a whole mashed potato thing in, and he filled it with actual wasabi in the dressing room, and it was like how much money. It was one of those, hey, everyone give me $20 and I'll eat this giant ladle of wasabi, and everyone ponied up real fast. And I kid you not, his face was so many colors, including like purple. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
I did that the first time I went to go get sushi. We had many cocktails, and I didn't know. I thought it was like some avocado mixture. And I took a giant spoonful, and I started to cry. It was so intense.
That same crew member, shortly after that trip, in the summer of '92, our second album came out, and we started the tour at the Orpheum here in Minneapolis. We were in town for a few days of production rehearsals, a couple nights at the Orpheum. So we had like a 5-night stay here. We all had a blast. That was it wasn't my first time in town, but that's when I was first like, man, this city's awesome. Like I really had a great time. And went to a Thai restaurant, and now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder where it was. It looks, I want to say it was in a warehouse district, probably just on the other side of the river from kind of where we are, where all those condos and stuff are now, but all the mills and all that. It was something, it kind of looked like that in my memory, but we went to this really good Thai restaurant, and this same crew member had never had Thai food. and the guy said he ordered something, and he said, "How hot do you want it?" And he said, "Give me 5 volcanoes." And the waiter goes, "No, 3 is probably plenty hot."
No, my friend.
And I said, "Paul, just get like 3 is like hot." He goes, "No, man. I mean, I eat like jalapenos." And I go, "This is not jalapeno." No.
Right.
And I said, "Do you not remember the thing in Japan, the wasabi thing?" He goes, that was, but in the food, it'll be fine. He was convinced. And he looked at the guy and goes, "I want the hottest version of this you have." And the waiter was like, "All right." And I watched this same guy, and he literally, the fork hadn't left his mouth yet. And he was like, "Oh my God, I can't eat this." And he was just, sweat was flying off his face. And we're like, "Dude," and he tried to send it back. And the waiter's like, "No, you did." And we were like, "No, man, you don't have to eat it, but you can't send it back. Just take it home, give it to someone on the street, whatever." It's a prank. At that point, it's just a mean prank.
Hose it down.
Yeah, there's I remember a roommate that had the Scoville hot pepper scale poster hanging in the kitchen. Very classy, very cool, very colorful, fun to look at. But jalapenos, were like in the bottom third.
Sure.
There's like 50 peppers. The Thai pepper, for example, that they use in the Thai food was in like the upper 1/3, up there with like the ghost pepper and the, I don't know, infinity pepper, whatever the hell was on there. But yeah, jalapenos, that's white trash hot. That's nothing. If you like to eat some jalapenos, you're not there. You're not there.
No, not at all.
You got a long way to go.
I wonder sometimes about the impact of all this. You see these studies. So we're talking about competitive eating, and now we're talking about crazy hot foods. It doesn't just tear up your intestinal tract. It can really get to your teeth as well. Like if you have acid reflux, that's anything like that. It just wears on the enamel of your teeth, and it can lead to, obviously, that puts you in the dentist chair, and that leads to a lot of stress because a lot of us don't like going to the dentist. I've never had that problem. I've very content to sit there and let someone just work on me. And I take naps sometimes during cleanings. It happens. Yeah. They lean me back. I can't help myself. But check this out. A new study from Italy says that dentists can actually smell the fear on their patients. Listen to this.
Like a predator.
Dentists can sense when you're afraid from the smell you give off. And here's the kicker. They tend to make more mistakes because of it.
What?
File this under the dog chasing its own tail forever story. Researchers had a bunch of dental students work on mannequins that were either in a normal t-shirt or a shirt someone wore during a really stressful exam. They would literally somebody takes an exam, they've been stressed, they remove your shirt, put it on a mannequin. When a dentist worked on a mannequin in the, quote, stress shirt, they made significantly more mistakes that could have damaged an actual patient's teeth. The researchers think that the stress sweat smell subconsciously made the dentist more nervous. These are not dentists who were told, we're going to do a test to see if you can smell fear. They literally just, based on the T-shirt a mannequin is wearing, if the shirt had previously been worn by someone under duress, the dentist could pick up on that, and it led them to make more mistakes. This is why we have to stop doing studies.
Yeah, right, exactly. Maybe they're just too into it. Maybe the dentist and what was that Little Shop of Horrors, Steve Martin, I'm thinking of not the play itself, but yeah, maybe they're just so into it, they get a little turned on, the adrenaline starts going, they make some mistakes.
You say the smell of fear, I say pheromone. I'm kind of turned on.
Right.
The more afraid you are, the hotter you look to me. Boy, that's a cacophony right there. That's a mix of that's a bunch of lanes that should never cross, I do believe.
No.
I dated a dental hygienist in college briefly. Wonderful girl. And she, as a student, asked me to come, can I clean your teeth? She had to have people, she had to clean teeth for class.
And
I said, sure. Yeah, I'll come over one day. And as I was walking across campus, at the student center, they were just giving away free popcorn. And it didn't even occur to me that would not be ideal. I'm on my way to get my teeth cleaned for my girlfriend, the student, and I am wolfing a bag of popcorn down, walking like, all right, free popcorn, when you're like, 19 and have 4 cents and someone offers you free popcorn, you like, are you kidding? This is a great day. And I walked in and I sat down and I opened my mouth and she literally, her eyes, she was about to cry. She was, and not sad, she was so mad. She was like,
Come
what did
on,
you? And I was like, I literally was like, oh my God, I didn't even. And she refused to believe that I could be that dumb that it didn't occur to me I was going to get my teeth cleaned.
Were you the first man she ever dated?
Apparently so.
Yeah, right.
She's like, you walked in here with a bag of popcorn. I'm like, sorry.
And
yes,
you didn't offer her any?
Yeah, I mean, look.
At least you didn't have some Doritos.
I mean, come on. You don't wash your car before you take it to a car wash. You're getting your teeth clean. Get to cleaning. Get that floss out. Get to work. Sugar.
I just walk in there. I'm basically like,
you're crunching away.
Bobo, gaga,
girl pretty.
What's one of the Ringo movie, Caveman? What was that? They all said like one word the whole movie.
That's
what was
right.
it? I can't. I'm spacing on it, but I remember watching that. Going, I'm a big Beatles fan, Ringo fan. It comes on cable, and I'm like, and then I'm like, it's really good. It's okay. I can't say a bad word about it. What am I watching?
Barbara Bach.
Well, he got Barbara Bach out of that deal. It was good for him, for sure. We do have, I mentioned something a little earlier in the show about dentists and fear. And we've got a follow-up that I want to share from you from a listener. You don't want to miss it, or maybe you do. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. A little earlier in the show, if you're just joining us, you may have missed the fact that a study in Italy has found that dentists can smell fear. And dental students, while training on mannequins, make more mistakes by a large margin when they are smelling fear on their patient. Now, if you're going, wait a minute, how can a mannequin show fear? Well, this is what they did. They put a mannequin in the chair, and the mannequin is wearing clothing. They will take a shirt worn by a student who was stressing over an exam. Okay, so take a student in school, they're stressful as they take a test. Their body emits a certain scent. It goes into the t-shirt, that shirt goes on a mannequin, and the dentist somehow picks up on it. I mean, this sounds crazy, but it's very true. Dentists pick up on their fear, and then they make more mistakes. That's what we were discussing. A dentist hit the KQ Talk and text line named Kristen. She said, I'm a dentist for 25 years. I used to, for sure, not do as good of work when the patient was under duress. I recommend sedation because I know my work will be better. I no longer have differences in my work, but it was several years into my career. She said, I used to stop before I should because I felt the patient was in distress. We are running over 400,000 RPMs on one of the most sensitive things in the body. It takes some real seeds to learn how to do that. I'm a female, so I had to learn to grow a pair. And it never occurred to me until I just read that text that the sedation, it's not for you, it's for the dentist.
Oh, yeah, but wouldn't they make more mistakes if they were under sedation?
Your sedation is for their benefit, I'm saying. Sedate the patient, and then the dentist is calmer, too. That makes perfect sense.
Right.
You know those dentists are taking a drag off that gas every once in a while. And why not? Good for them, Hell, do it. One for you, one for me. Let's get this done.
It's very true. I think because I was at the dentist so often as a kid, I've just never had an issue with the dentist. I really doesn't stress me out at all. Mm-hmm. And I got a great, the Gorman Center for Fine Dentistry here. I love everybody up there. I've been several times. I've had a lot of great work done. It's awesome. But I realize it's kind of an anomaly to not have any stress over the dentist. But I am the kid who went to the dentist as a child and was told, you have 16 cavities. Oh, yeah. 16. I'm not making that up. That's real. The eighth kid in a family oftentimes just simply says, yes, I brush my teeth. And the parents go, okay, great. Go to bed, please. God, I'm tired. Yeah. And I just skirted under that one forever. So I've had problems with my teeth my whole life. So it doesn't sweat me in the least to go to the dentist. I'm just like, hey, it's like going to, hey, I'm back. Good to see you.
Old buddy. Yeah.
Right. All those buckwheats.
Boy, let me tell you something. What I wouldn't give for a good old bowl of buckwheats right now. Golly.
You guys always have to remind me. That was like a cereal, like a shredded wheat or something.
Maple flavored.
Yeah. Maple flavored, just brown flakes, man. It was It was, yeah. I worked at a grocery store once in produce, and we used to trade. Not that this was allowed, but we didn't care. I would go down to the guy that would pack the things, and I'd go, "Do you want a watermelon for a case of buckwheats?" Sure. Just two watermelons, I think, for a box of 12 boxes of buckwheats in it. Just right out the back.
Why wouldn't he trade? Neither one of you owned it.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think the store was cool. We never got caught. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah.
We're bartering someone else's goods just to. But I spent a summer immersed in buckwheat. Summer of '85. The last time I really had a buckwheat experience. But boy, that was good stuff. What are you gonna do? I don't know what you call the kind of guy who just trades groceries that he doesn't own for other groceries that the other guy doesn't own. But I think it would just be thief. I think actually that's what that would be.
Sure, I mean a little harmless thievery.
There's got to you got to put labels on things. That's the world we live in. You got to be able to define things very succinctly. The American Psychiatric Association is going to release a new edition of what they call the Diagnostics and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. There's a new version online. There are 300 conditions, including several new disorders. And by the way, we're not making this up. They don't sound so much like disorders, but again, it's easier to put a name on things, so let's just go for it. If you or someone you know is passive, very inactive, just can't seem to get anything done, that person's not lazy.
They're Minnesotan.
Minnesotan. That person has sluggish cognitive tempo disorder.
Sluggish for that? Yeah.
Sluggish cognitive tempo disorder, or what every local band's drummer is accused of often. Blame the drummer. Rule number one of every band. That is what happens. If you're going through a divorce, you're having a hard time getting along with your ex, that's not a normal reaction to major emotional stress. That is what's called relational disorder.
Oh,
come on, stop.
I've suffered from that. I've suffered.
You little Zep, you're poster boy for relational disorder.
Yeah,
oh
that's
my
right.
God. That's called just going through a divorce. Really,
yeah, right.
For everybody.
Yeah.
If you're always complaining, you're not a whiner. You have negativistic personality disorder. Or in my world, you're a douchebag. Get your head out of your ass and look for the sunrise.
Yeah.
If you sometimes lose your temper, if you become very angry very quickly, you don't have a bad temper. You have, wait for it, this is not related to your bowels. This is emotional thing. Intermittent explosive disorder.
Right. Mm-hmm. Is there a treatment for that? Or
I like the fact that it's IED. It just sounds, yeah. Oh my gosh. If you are appalled by pornography and other obscenities, you're not just a self-righteous prude. You have what is known as Mary Whitehouse syndrome.
Wait, who's that?
Who's Mary Whitehouse?
Moral campaigner Mary Whitehouse. I'm glad you asked. She has been gone for a while, but she was a British woman who campaigned relentlessly against obscenity and specifically pornography.
Which means she was the biggest porn hound.
Pretty much.
On the block, probably. Yeah.
She was responsible for, in England, 1978, the Protection of Children Act, Indecent Displays Control Act, the 1984 Video Recordings Act. It was just all based around porn. She was an evangelical Christian, and she thought that in addition to enjoying porn, of course, homosexuality was a sin. It goes on and on and on. She was relentless. She looks in the photos, if you Google her, just like a whole lot of aging British women do. It looks like she's got something that smells bad on her upper lip.
Yeah. Well, maybe the old man just didn't give her to her right,
something went wrong.
Couldn't get her there,
Yeah, see, that's
what happens. Guys, work harder.
No kidding, man. Listen, communicate, fellas. Ask questions and really care about the answers.
Put your intermittent explosive disorder aside for just a moment. Mm-hmm. Think about the greater good.
Release all that's holding you back. Let's not create a whole new generation of Mary Whitehouses, okay?
Yeah.
If you are very moody, for the women out there, while PMSing, this is now known as premenstrual dysphonic disorder.
Ooh, I like the word dysphonic. It sounds kind of rock and roll, doesn't it?
Well, to me, it sounds like when you're PMSing, you don't sing in key anymore. You've got a dysphonic disorder. That just sends me a little.
Yeah.
If you don't care about the planet's health, you've got nature deficit disorder.
Oh,
okay. Just come on.
All right.
Or you know what? Maybe you got a lot of debt, and literally the state of plastic in the Pacific Ocean ain't keeping you up at night. Could just be that. That's how that goes.
My lack of conscience.
Yeah. Maybe you know what? Maybe you're just stressing over the fact you can't lose weight. I've got good news for you. This is out of Japan. If you want to lose weight, just chew gum while you walk. Walk a lot, but chew gum while you do it.
I can't.
You're the one guy you literally can't do it.
I can't do it.
When people combined walking and chewing gum in a very large study, their heart rates were actually higher. They used more energy, and they lost more weight than walking without gum. And the scientists are like, well, we're shocked by the results, but they speak for themselves. They're not 100% sure, but they think there's something called cardiolocomotor synchronization. That's where your heartbeat syncs up with a repetitive movement. So by chewing gum, your heart goes up into the cardio zone, and it stays there, and you drop weight as a result.
Yeah, it's supposed to speed up your metabolism as well. I've heard that.
Can you just do it laying there in the recliner?
Sure.
Just get that gum going fast.
I'm willing to try. I'll be the test subject for that one. You need a guinea pig? What's the gig? Sit in this Barca-lounger and chew gum. No problem. I have a Netflix subscription. Give it. Just hand it over. Zepp, you mentioned you've been that guy who at times had relational disorder, having gone through a divorce.
Yeah.
So here's another study of note. 3 biggest strategies people use to deal with after the breakup of a long-term relationship, and they were looking at people in these situations. You're processing a long-term relationship that has ended, and you're using 3 strategies, and scientists are linking people up and using brain scans to see how well the strategies worked. Some work better than other. The best strategy, according to the brain scans of people going through breakups, is this simple distraction.
Yeah.
When people distracted themselves with things like eating too much, they were in a better mood overall. It doesn't necessarily help you get over your ex, but you put off dealing with those feelings, and so therefore you're feeling a little better.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on. I could have, they just could have called me. Eating too much, drinking too much. Yeah, anything to distract ourselves, anything, move on. Rush back into a more dysfunctional relationship, Call the other ex that didn't work out.
Sure. I mean, it's called midlife crisis. I mean, just whatever you got to do to distract. The convertible, the Pat Riley mid-'80s slicked back hairstyle, whatever it takes, go for it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's surely that's going to make a comeback soon.
I mean, feel free to exercise or something like that. Buy a bicycle.
Make no mistake about that.
Go
drop a few.
Yeah, but we like to go to, it's like comfort food, right? It's we want to eat. Drinking, wouldn't recommend it. Does the trick just for a little bit, but then it starts to work against you real quick.
Yeah, so that's why you go buy a pack of gum and start walking.
And start walking.
Work through it. The second best strategy, processing a breakup, according to the brain scans, trashing your ex.
Did I write this?
Yeah,
I mean, I thought this was going to be like really therapeutic, like start reading some start meditating in the morning and cite a daily mantra. But no, just go with what works.
I just realized I opened your laptop by mistake. Yes, these are your notes.
Just trash your ex.
Think about all the stuff they did that you hated. The study found that it actually made people love their ex less, and that helps in recovery.
Okay.
Now, it does tend to put you in a worse mood at the same time, so that's the trade-off. You're going to be in a worse mood, but it speeds along the let's pull away from the feelings of love and just get back to a good old-fashioned hatred.
That would seem a little phony to me because, I mean, it was always obvious when there was a breakup who the bad guy was. And I'm not just being self-deprecating. There was someone that screwed up a lot and the other person that tried a lot, maybe tried a little too hard, perhaps just a hair naive.
Yeah.
Good for them. But, yeah, so I had to sit around and trash an ex. I didn't have much material, I'm sure they were going to town, but I'll go back to eating too much.
I was in a room last year with a couple of buddies, one of whom was going through a divorce, and he was not feeling good about it at all.
No.
And my one friend said to him, he goes, is there like one, I mean, can you pinpoint one thing, or was it just a whole series of things? Like what, because they've been together a while. And my buddy goes, oh yeah, no, it's me. Totally. I just couldn't stop sleeping around. I was like, it's just right. He goes, oh yeah, no. That's what it is. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, that's tough, and that's probably pretty heartbreaking for her, but at least you got that clarity. You know, there's no he said, she said. There's just like, oh yeah, I just kept doing this.
Yeah, no, it's you're right. It gives it some closure, but it's still the pain of not having someone to take advantage of. It's difficult.
The worst strategy is accepting your feelings and saying things like it's okay to love someone I'm not with anymore. That did not help people at all on the process of getting over their ex. And it also didn't put them in a better mood. That's the ultimate denial. It's like, no, just embrace the rage, I think, is what this is telling us.
Yeah, instinctually, we get it right every once in a while. Just do what comes naturally instead of trying to force this other malarkey, upon yourself.
I tell you what, it's 30 years in. If I go through a breakup anytime soon, I'm just going to advise everyone to just keep it, get outside of arm's length. I can't imagine what's going to happen. It's going to be ugly, and it's going to be sad. Whew. I'm trying to think of the last time I mean, it's really been a while. There were some breakups. The last time I was like heartbroken, like really walking around like, oh my God. I mean, that's like the 1980s, literally.
But now it comes with so much more. I mean, once you get into that marriage, and especially a stretch down the road, and if there's some kids involved, getting divorced, I always thought that wasn't so focused on what didn't work in the relationship between the two of us, again, me, but I mean, it just comes with so much red tape and lawyers and things you've got to do and decisions that have to be made. You'll find yourself, fighting for your possessions, or just being really resentful of any settlements and that sort of thing. But it has very little to do with what went wrong in the relationship. But I like it. Just get pissed and eat too much. I love it.
My last really passionate breakup, if you will, the roughest part of it was that it took a few months. Because there was the breakup, and then there's the, oh, come on, we were getting over, we just got too hot-headed, let's try again. Then there's the second breakup, and then the worst thing imaginable happened. My band had a gig we lived in Atlanta, Georgia. My band had a gig in Nashville, and we couldn't use the van. And I was like, man, I need a car for the drums. And I was like, she's got that car. And she had a really nice car that always worked. And I was like, I don't know. Let's go up to Nashville, and I got a gig, but you have friends there. We could just let's try to put this. I didn't call her and say that. Yeah, terrible. And by the way, this was with urging. It was like, look, man, I got enough room for my amp and my guitar and the bass amp and the bass guitar, but we don't have room for the drums. We had to have 2 cars at least to get up there with 4 people. So it turned into a 3-car excursion, and me and she shall who not be named in her Jetta, which somehow fit a 4-piece drum kit perfectly. Went up to Nashville, and that meant a few days of reinvestment in the relationship.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was thinking the whole time, we'll get back from Nashville, I'll wait a day, and then I'm going to go, this isn't feeling right again. And then the following weekend, we had a gig in New Orleans, and then for the second weekend in a row, found out our van was unavailable.
One more
And so I got back and so it's like, okay, I'm going to break up on Monday or Tuesday. And then it's like, oh, crap, I got to go to New Orleans on Friday. And so I had to go that whole week. I felt terrible. Not terrible enough to cancel either gig. Right. I had to do what I had to do. But and she had gone to college in New Orleans, so that was an even easier one. I was like, go see all your buddies. They're in grad school now, whatever it was. And then that's where it really hit the wall, because New Orleans to Atlanta was enough of a drive after where she was seeing right through me by the time we were, halfway home. Yeah, really. She's like, at some point she just goes, is this all about my car? And I was like, no, that's ridiculous. I would never do that.
That's preposterous.
That's crazy. And then after that, really the ultimate ugliest part, that wasn't the worst. The later, I lived in a house with a couple guys, and she broke in and took some of my stuff.
She
broke into the house.
I mean, at that point, really, how angry can you get?
Well, it's funny because for years I was like, she was so crazy, she broke into my house. And literally right now, for the first time, I'm going, wait a minute, I'm the guy who got her car. I got back together for 10 days for 2 gigs where I lost money.
Yeah.
That was worth it.
It's called settling the score. She was settling the score.
That's exactly right. I'm suddenly like, hey, now all these years later, yes, she had every right. She should have broken into my house. In fact, she should have burned the place down.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I think about it.
Thanks for not burning the place down. Really appreciate that. She evolved as a human being.
Getting a whole new look at these things. Wait a minute. I'm the one who's trying to evolve here. I'm looking for points. Come on, man. This ain't about her.
You both did.
Yeah, well, and then we when it finally ultimately did end forever, I've never seen her since. Not once. Not a chance encounter, not a random bump in. Like literally gone, which is probably for the best.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, her relationships got better. I'm not saying the next one was, her soulmate necessarily, but like I said, she evolved. She knew, she's like, all right, dated this guy in a band. First of all, my one rule to my daughters, both growing up, it's okay if you date a musician. I'm not going to throw a big fit, but never a drummer. I don't know why. I just got it in my head. I knew too many drummers, I guess, in local bands. And one of them, of course, immediately, the first guy she dates in a band is a drummer. But these are all learning things. These are things that you learn along the way.
Well, the easy thing about drummers, and as a drummer, I've learned this, and I stand by this, is they're one of 2 types of people. They're either Keith Moon. They're throwing stuff out of windows and doing naked handstands in the lobby, and they're trying to drive cars into swimming pools, or they are, kind of a very, backseat driver, kind of in charge, but don't want everyone to notice, and they're, kind of quiet, scheming, Machiavellian douchebags, and it's one or the other.
One or the other, huh?
I'm not going to say which one of those I am, but I don't do naked handstands, I can tell you that. Okay, this is getting way too personal. I'll tell you what makes me personally feel pretty good. It's that the Minnesota Timberwolves decided to be the Timberwolves again. We will let you know what you missed in case you did, and still plenty more in the final as we approach the final lap of the KQ Morning Show. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Wednesday, May the 29th, the day that Timberwolves fans woke up and went, hey, we're still playing. The season is not over. I anticipated a Mavs sweep after the Wolves went down 3-0. Specifically because the third game was the one that really showed all the flaws in the Wolves' approach. But they rebooted themselves apparently. Ant and Cat both showed up to play last night. It's do or die. Loser goes home for good. So it'd be honestly, if the Wolves put this series back to 6 games and go back to Dallas, if they get a win in Game 5, it's a real success for a young team that was exposed mercilessly through the first 3 games, but make some adjustments. If they get a second win, then all of a sudden you have to start going, well, I mean, maybe it's possible. Maybe this could actually happen. We'll see.
And so it begins. I loved when Luka missed that free throw. He got so pissed. He started chewing on his jersey.
Yeah. My 3rd grade school photo, I'm wearing a T-shirt, and I was chewing on the collar right before
like that.
Yeah, I still remember, like, my mom got the picture, and she was like, I've told you not to chew your, I'm like, obviously, it was a little nervous or something. My collar looks like it had just come out of the, like a shredding machine or something. It looked ridiculous. But no, great win last night for the T-Wolves. Very happy to see them. For looking forward too. I mean, every season's different. There's not a whole lot of carryover, but getting swept is brutal. I mean, if you get swept, you really have to spend the offseason staring in the mirror. At least now they don't have quite so many holes in the psyche, if you will. So I'm excited for Game 5. Mm-hmm. I will be looking very forward to that. We mentioned earlier in the show the top 3 watched series for TV in the 23-24 TV year. Number 1 was Sunday Night Football. Number 2 was Monday Night Football, and number 3 was Thursday Night Football. Yeah. This country loves it some broadcast television football. Make no mistake about it. And speaking of football, Miami Dolphins linebacker Jalen Phillips found out just how fun life can be when you live in the state of Florida. Walked into his bathroom the other day and saw something in his toilet that kind of freaked him out. Now, we've all done that in the morning. You know, you get in late, it's drunk, you forget to flush.
Yeah.
But this was not that.
Yeah.
Do we have audio of this or no?
I'm not aware of any audio of this.
He walks into his toilet. There was a video he posted. Yeah, you know what? You can't really hear, so I'll just explain. Looks into his toilet and sees not a small iguana
All right.
in the toilet.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a pet iguana. This iguana just appeared, either up through the pipes or maybe through a window. No idea where he came in from. He says, man, this is some Florida stuff, if you will. He said, I just want to know if he came up in there like a Ninja Turtle or if he was in the garage or something. If I walk into a bathroom and I lift the lid of a toilet and see an iguana, I think my bowels will clench for about a week. It'll be a long time before I sit back down.
I kind of want to just pee on it.
I can see that, but sitting on a turlet, as they say, that's going to take me a while.
Yeah, well, you're not going to sit down if there's an iguana.
No, I mean even after the iguana's gone, I'm saying for the next few days, I'm just not going to feel confident, no matter how many times I check.
Yeah, things are coming up through there. We had the story last year. The guy in China, the snake came up and bit him right in the coin purse. Yeah,
that's not good.
That I'd worry about. You know,
that's. Yeah, I don't even think about it, but that's a real thing. Like when I picture it, I immediately clench. I mean, I feel like a surge. And so, the idea of something coming up through the pipes, and of course I'm a snake phobe nut job anyway to begin with. So this would turn me inside out. Oh, God. This would be bad.
I'm sure the iguana wasn't digging it. Couldn't have been a fun crawl up through there. I don't
think so. It's like Andy Dufresne just trying to get to safety, trying to get to freedom, right through the nastiest muck and filth you can imagine.
Yeah.
You see the iguana, and actually he does have his hands are kind of spread. It does look like it kind of looks like Robbins in that creek when he gets out of Shawshank Prison.
Yeah.
You know, he's standing there with his arms wide. Yeah. No, that would freak me out. That reminds me. Recently, this was one of these bizarre polls you see. 490 people were asked if you see a penny in a urinal, will you pick it up?
A penny?
A penny.
If I just see a penny, I'm not gonna. Is this a good luck thing? I always forget if it's heads or tails, and I get freaked out. Like I don't know, is the other bad luck? But
tails is good luck. Don't pick up a heads.
I'm not gonna pick up a penny anyway. Why the hell would I pick up a penny anywhere?
Mm-hmm. In a urinal. So as I said, 490 people were asked, and 428 said absolutely not.
Oh, well, then out of a urinal?
Which means 62 people said yes.
No, they didn't.
Would you grab a urinal cake and throw it around?
You got to be pretty broke.
Yeah.
You need that penny in the urinal.
Would you pick up a quarter from a urinal?
No, absolutely not.
No.
A $10 bill.
No, it's got to be at least a honeybee.
No urine soaked.
Yeah. Oh no, a honeybee.
You can rinse it off, let it dry. It's $10, legal tender. You wouldn't pick a tenner out of a urinal.
Every time they test any type of currency, it's filled with feces anyway. Cocaine and feces.
Yeah.
I've heard. I don't know, but for a honeybee, for $100, yeah. I'm just gonna rinse it off, and they'll wash my hands.
That money's full of cocaine and feces.
Good morning show team name.
Yeah, cocaine and feces in the morning. What about you? What about you fellas? What would you go in for? There's something you'd go in there for. You know what? A gold ring, a diamond, or something like that.
Yeah.
There must be something of some value. You would get a little pee-pee on your finger.
Well, like you
said,
if it was a $100 bill, it's hard to, no matter what. Now we're keeping this in a urinal. Don't even, I'm not thinking about going into a toilet after one, trust me. But if it's a urinal, I'd flush it several times. I'm already picturing this. You see $100 bill in there. You're like, all right, just make sure the flush is working. Make sure there's fresh water over it. And then, pick it up, run it to the sink, wash it with my hands for 36 minutes with that pink soap. You need like a quart of it to get one bubble. And then you do that. And then take it home.
Spend it immediately.
Put it on the clothesline out back. Let it air dry. Get a little Febreze,
walk right into the bar, wherever you're at, to the nearest counter and buy yourself a candy bar or something. Launder that money as quickly as you can. Yeah.
That's right. Break that bad boy as soon as possible. There you go. That's pretty strong. It would be, man. It would be something, like $100 bill is probably because now I'm thinking, okay, well, hang on, be honest, Steve. What about a 50? What about a grant sitting in there? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'd leave a 20. I would walk away from a 20.
Yeah, I think I would too. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there was a time in my life I probably wouldn't have walked away from a 20. There was a time where if I had a 20, I'd go to a bar. I was like, I got $20, I'm going to the bar. So 20 would have kept the party going.
For sure.
It would have just been a rinse and a wash and right to the bar and exchange that bad boy for some alcohol.
This reminds me, I was doing an interview in a remote field somewhere in Germany with one of my bandmates, and he had to run into the trees because he had a very unexpected and violent case of diarrhea overtook him. And he got up and he just walked into the tree. I'm going to go into those woods over there. And he ran away. And he came back and he was like, hey, man, you got any money? And I was like, sorry. And he goes, there's no leaves.
Oh, no.
Money?
And I said, this is pre-Euro. So we're in Germany. It's the mid-'90s. And I opened my wallet and I go, I had 4 20s, Deutschmarks. I had 80 Deutschmarks. And he was like, just give those to me. I'm like, you're paying me back.
Oh.
And I always said it was the most expensive dump someone else ever took. For me, it cost me 80 Deutschmarks for my man to go clean himself up.
Oh, my God.
I have to go back to the part where the Germans walked you out into a field and you willingly went.
Yeah, that was it was a little dodgy.
A trench out there, was
We're going to take you sit at the base of this giant oak tree for the interview.
Okay, really? We're going to do that?
That's going to be fun. We'll talk about rock and roll and 70s influences and stuff.
Okay. Can we just
picnic?
Can we just stay at the hotel and do it since we're just doing this all day anyway? and then every time they would say, "So Steve, we understand you're a soccer fan. I didn't know Americans understood the game." Like, yeah, we understand the game. And this was on a press tour.
Just don't care about it.
This was on a press tour where we were just doing interviews 8 hours a day, every day, and every single day in a different city. And I was asked a half dozen times in the same week, so could you explain the offside rule then? Like they were trying to stump me. Like you can't possibly understand offside rules. And I would
freaking soccer. It's
but I'm a soccer jerk. No, but I love it. I mean, they knew they had me. But the fact that they thought I wouldn't be able to understand and explain one of the most fundamental rules of the game, I was just like, oh my God, you guys are getting bad press about it. I mean, we suck at soccer, but we understand it. There's a difference. Just because we can't compete doesn't mean we don't know what the rules are, for crying out loud. Absolutely ridiculous. It was funny though, because after that experience happened, again, not to me, but to a bandmate, I remember, I couldn't pick up. I went to Germany several times in the following years. Anytime I had German money in my wallet, I was just like, I can use this in case I need it as toilet paper. Just in a pinch. Yeah. You never know.
Maybe Canadian money you could. It's practically toilet paper anyway.
Mm-hmm. And it's but sad because the money, other countries' money was so pretty, multicolored.
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah,
it was very nice. They took. I never appreciated how intricate the bills are, like the amount of stuff on a bill, until you start seeing other money, and you're like, man, people put a lot of thought into this stuff.
I know some of them are much bigger too. It's like bigger. A comic book page. You want to read it.
Very true. You get, speaking of, I'm just thinking about now I'm just obsessing on German food and thinking about how wunderbar.
Wurst.
Spätzle.
Oh, yeah. Love me some Spätzle with a good beef gravy.
Oh, it's all so good. It's all pretty fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. I'm seeing this. Jake just texted on the KQ Talking text line, 651-989-ROCK. If somehow there were a Morgan silver dollar in a urinal, I'd definitely take it. I would use several layers of paper towel, though. A Morgan silver dollar.
Yeah. Must be worth a lot of money.
I imagine that would be worth a lot of money.
Well, yeah. If it's worth a lot of money, I'm going in, So, yeah, there's probably lots of things I'd go in there for. Somebody's gold tooth fell out of their head. I'd take it just for fun. But, not a penny. But, yeah, something worth a lot of value. I'd go into a toilet.
Joe
trying to think if I ever had to reach into a toilet before.
I don't think I have.
Now, my buddy did. He puked his tooth out and then passed out and didn't flush the toilet. The next morning he got up, was missing his tooth, and went back in, and sure enough, there it was at the bottom of the puke toilet water, and he just played. Didn't even think about it. You can't think about it. You
just
got to
go.
Stuff.
Why not?
Yeah, you just go in, you get it. But that was something he had to put back in his mouth.
Joe from Como Park just texted, young and dumb at an Iowa-Minnesota game. A buddy wiped his arse with a dollar bill and threw it on the ground, only to watch a dad take his kid off his shoulders to go get the dollar. We were all screaming, no!
Oh.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
That's worse than when one time at the pool, we crazy glued a quarter right in front of the Coke machine.
Yeah.
And just watch kids try to pick it up all day. That's just hours of 70s fun.
It never ends, No,
that was great.
The old fishing line on the dollar bill kind of thing, and then you keep them stumbling down the sidewalk. Thinking about all these bathroom things, I'm just thinking about, as I said, I got on a German food bend, and you go to Germany, and just everything you eat is meat in a good way. I mean, there's so many things in front of the word worst, that you've never thought of before. You got bratwurst, knockwurst, those, but the currywurst, the blah blah blah, where everywhere there's worst, and one member of our touring entourage was a vegetarian, and just every time he'd just walk around Germany, just like a lot of sauerkraut.
Man, I mean, how much pickled cabbage can one man eat in a 10-day tour? Potatoes and sauerkraut, like that was it. He wasn't afraid of meat, but he didn't eat meat. If he was afraid of meat, that would be carnophobia. In case you're wondering, carnophobia.
If you actually fear meat,
yes, the sight of meat triggers anxiety in people. They have carnophobia.
Just the meat.
I suffered as a child regularly going to the Western Kentucky State Fair from something called carniphobia.
You afraid of carnies?
Yeah, they were just all tweakers and weird guys. That was different.
Yeah,
just a letter or two can make all the difference.
Yeah,
love meat, fear carnies. It's a safe way to go through life. I can't even pronounce some of these. I'm looking at some of these crazy food phobias. Well, turophobia is the fear of cheese. Turophobia, a literal fear of cheese.
Poor cheese.
Man, what did cheese ever do to you?
I mean, and how do you escape it? It's everywhere.
I mean, if you're lactose intolerant, sure, but come on.
Yeah,
man.
but these are, you don't like it, you don't want it, you're afraid of it. You fear it. Yeah, that's weird.
Here's one.
Fear the cheese.
Here's one that everybody has a loose peripheral understanding of. I don't know how. I'm going to just shoot for it. Deipnophobia. Deipnophobia. D-E-I-P. Deipnophobia. This phobia involves the fear of dining or dinner conversations. Okay, got it. Sometimes, I had a hard, fast rule for years. Like, I will not sit at a table if there's more than six people there. You put a seventh person there, and just all hell breaks loose. Then you're stuck for hours. Yeah. You got to get in and get out. That can be tough. And also, just growing up in a big family, I was always at the card table for Thanksgiving and Christmas for years.
Kids table,
sure.
Yeah,
that was fun. When I jumped up to the big table, which I'd been waiting for, I suddenly was like, man, I missed that card table.
I know.
They just left us alone over there.
They didn't know what was going on. You just start eating your food when you got it, and then you got to the big table, and it was like, okay, let's all bow our heads. I'm like, I was always 4 bites in. I'm sorry, and I'm chewing while someone's praying, and
not good.
Yeah, awkward. There's just a lot of awkward things,
Phagophobia, Phago, phago or phagophobia, the fear of swallowing. Holy smokes. You're not going to get much done in a day if you can't swallow.
How do you get that in there? Yeah. Maybe a spitter, I guess, not a swallower.
I guess so.
But yeah, I mean, you've got to swallow. The fear, I'm afraid of swallowing. All right.
Here's the last one. Arachabutyrophobia. Arachabutyrophobia. A literal phobia, which is the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Oh, get that all-natural peanut butter.
Yeah.
That won't stick to anything.
You're gonna struggle with those hiccups if you can't shove a big spoonful of peanut butter in there.
Yeah.
I tell you, works for me every time.
Food phobias. I can honestly say I don't have a food phobia that I'm aware of. I haven't many lima beans maybe, but that's, just more of a, I don't know, passionate hate.
Food phobias in my house were dealt with as such. Finish your plate, damn it. That was it. Oh, you don't like that? Well, then eat it all.
Sometimes you got more.
Yeah.
Put some on your plate, or I'll put it on your plate.
You did.
For you. Yeah.
You don't want to eat those peas? Well, you're going to eat these peas then. Here's an extra ladle of them. Thanks. That's great. Really, really good.
Dining with Dad. That might have been my phobia.
Always the best.
Connect with us on the KQ Talk and Text line. 651-989-ROCK. That's 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is KQ Morning Show. It's Wednesday, May the 29th. Good morning. Yesterday up in St. Cloud, Up in Smoke Barbecue hosted a competitive eater. A guy named Randy Santel went into the restaurant last night. He is a world record holder for a whole bunch of different things. Most food challenges conquered. And he went for Up in Smoke's Barbecue Platter Challenge last night. I'll just go ahead and cut to the chase. He put it all down. In a little under an hour, he ate a rack of ribs, a pound of smoked beef brisket, a half pound of pulled pork, a half pound of pulled chicken, 3 chicken wings, 2 cornbreads, and 1 pound of sides.
Wow. And he did it sober. Well, presumably, I
Presumably.
Yeah. Wow.
This is all within a week. He knocked out last night. He took that down. Earlier this week, he ate something called the Double Belt Buster Burger Challenge at Hopper's Bar and Grill in Waconia, and then was a part of a 3-man team that put down a 30-inch monstrosity pizza at a pizza place in Albertville. That was 10 pounds of cheese on one pizza. And it's a 3-man team. They have to do it in 30 minutes.
How do they know when to tag out?
I don't really know. I didn't get the
when they pass out. Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't get all the protocols on that one. But this guy, just looking at some of the stuff he's done. By the way, the 30-inch pizza. For anyone out there wondering, this is just one of those things. I read this. I come across this information once a year. Various links or something leads me to it. An 18-inch pizza has more pizza than 2 12-inch pizzas. Did you know that?
Okay.
Two 12-inch pizzas, it's algebra. Like the square inches. Like, so when you see that thing, it's like get 2 mediums or 1 large. Always get the large if you want more pizza. Like the way circumference, I don't know. Okay. I hate algebra. But I'm telling you right now, but if you have an 18-inch pizza or 2 12-inches, there's more pizza on the 18-inch, even though my brain refuses to believe that, because in my mind, it's like, no, that's 2 12-inch pizzas is 24 inches of pizza. No, that's not how that works.
All right.
I don't know. There's a reason that I just refused to pay attention in class, and it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, right there, But either way, you're getting a lot of pizza.
You're getting a lot of pizza either way. Good point.
30. I remember one time, and I just, because like you, I don't, compute. My brain doesn't work like that with mathematics. You can explain it to me, and I'll nod and say, okay, I think I understand it. But they said we were ordering a pizza to pick up. You had to go pick up at this place, and I just ordered the largest pizza they had, 26 inches. And I went, oh, that's the big pizza right there. We'll take the biggest one they have. It's just 2 of us, but we wanted some for later. Fantastic. I laughed when I came out that store with the pizza. I walked in there and they put it on the counter and I started laughing. I thought, is this a gag pizza?
It's so big.
It's 26 inches, unbelievably big. I started thinking, well, my bike tire is 27 and a half inches. My new bike is 29. When I think about that, I'm basically carrying out a pizza box you could put an adult bike tire into.
It's funny because I think about when I'm thinking about a pizza size, when you see something beyond like 18, I think about it in drum sizes. Like you said, it's the size of your wheel, your tire.
Yeah.
And like a 20-inch kick drum or an 18-inch floor tom. I know exactly what that is. That's where my brain goes. Or, the 12-inch rack tom, for example. That's exactly what it is. That's a lot of 26 is humongous.
And this guy does it over and over and over again. We know about these competitive eaters. Now all I want to do is say Chitwood, and I know his name, damn it. Joey Chestnut. Joey Chestnut and I can't remember. Anyway, competitive eaters, they do this over and over again. You think it would just destroy their body. So I went online looking for proof that it just tears up your insides, that you'll never be the same again. You're going to be crapping through a tube by the time you're 30. But no, the things they list that could stretch out your stomach, that makes sense, but it doesn't say that it's going to stretch it out in any way that, it's going to kill you. Not like in, what was the gluttony? That was one of the 7 sins.
Sure.
In the movie Seven. Yeah, right. He exploded from the inside out. You may experience some jaw discomfort. No big deal. I mean, we've all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've. Never mind. You might consume too much sodium. What is this? I'm looking for your body is just going to get totally wrecked. But I guess not that bad for you, in which case. And by the way, you do have to keep it down for a certain amount of time. You cannot barf it up for a certain amount of time until after so I don't know if they just take a power laxative, Turbo Lax or whatever, or they just let it pass naturally. But 10 pounds of cheese.
You're going to have to bring a garden hose. That's all I'm saying. You're going to have to do it like it's a horse. And you're just going to have to, hose it up and get out of the way and watch her blow. This guy we're talking about, Randy Santel, he has 2.2 million followers on Facebook. And here is his bio. Pro eater, registered dietitian nutritionist.
He's a dietitian.
He's an RDN. And then entrepreneur, world traveler.
Why do I feel bad then? Because society's conditioned me to feel bad if I just pig out and just eat until I'm in pain, and then just eat just a little bit more. But it's not even bad for you, really.
Maybe the pain is it's far less when someone's filming you and saying, "Keep going, man! You're awesome! World record, man!" Maybe you don't notice. By the way, this guy also, let's see, was just in Appleton, Wisconsin, and he went to a place called Egg Rolls Inc. The attempt was it's spelled H'. It's a humongous dozen egg rolls challenge. They have egg rolls the size of burritos, literally, and he had 24 minutes to eat 12 of them, and he did it. This is just astounding to me, absolutely astounding. Well done, Randy.
Yeah.
Registered dietitian nutritionist.
You're living the life we all want to live, I guess, kind of a little bit. I mean, I don't want to eat 10 pounds of cheese, but I want to eat way too much cheese all the time.
And he looks good. He's not. Now, this is not a lean gentleman, but he certainly looks to be in some sort of shape. I'm sure he's got a regimen. He's lifting or certainly doing a lot of planks. He's doing something to keep his clothes, keep his body inside his clothes. But I don't know much about that kind of side of it. But I'm just saying, from the look of him, he is. Not what you expect. Just like Joey Chestnut, just like Kobayashi. Those guys are those are lean guys. Those aren't even big dudes. A gentleman in Melbourne, Australia, left nothing to the imagination as far as what he looks like under his clothes on a Virgin Atlantic flight in Australia, a domestic flight. It wasn't he's from Melbourne. He's not in Melbourne. This was a flight that was going from Perth to the East Coast to Melbourne. That's like, say. It's like going from L.A. to, D.C. It's Australia. You're crossing the whole country. 3.5, 4 hour flight. A little ways into the flight, dude jumped up and ran up and down the aisles of a Virgin Australian flight, buck naked. Just buck naked.
Nude.
Without a point, really. He wasn't screaming. There was not a manifesto involved. He wasn't urinating. He wasn't spraying diarrhea like the guy on the flight last year. He's just running up and down the aisles naked, having a good time. He was arrested. The disruptive guest, the disruptive passenger, I should say, was arrested after a crew member did knock him to the floor, and they got him under control. And this is when I first see the story, my first thought was, boy, Australia's changing, because that's a place in the world where normally he would just get a round of applause.
Yes.
Look at him. Yeah, his tackles dangling, looking good. Yeah, I can't believe this was a problem. problem down under.
I mean, you don't want to see a crack anywhere on a plane, in the fuselage, someone else's crack.
Window.
But in the window, you don't want to see any cracks on a plane, period. But we did the guy, we talked about it last year, the guy walking through the airport, and I believe that was a domestic flight right here in the good old United States, buck naked.
Yeah, I think that was in Nashville, if memory serves.
Was it in Nashville?
I believe
and people were kind of noticing.
Yeah.
There was the couple there that were going back and forth saying, she was telling him, don't record him. And the boyfriend is saying, he's walking naked through the airport. Of course, I'm going to record him. Don't be ridiculous. But I guess not. People just don't like this kind of hijinks on planes, No, anything to go wrong on a plane. No, don't even crack any jokes on a plane. Unless you're the pilot, then make it a bad joke.
I'm all for I'm all for a straight and narrow path on a flight myself. I don't, when I hear just even a raised voice, I go right on high alert. Like it can be a dad going, "Hey, knock that off," to his kids or something. But just anything above the fake friendly nature of all airline communication. If you feel any tension, I'm just like, "Oh, come on, not up here, man. Let's chill out."
I think that's it. Right? Yeah, we don't. Yeah, you just don't want any hijinks up there. If he's walking around naked, what's next? Is the pilot going to nosedive the plane? We don't know. Here it is, naked man walking through the airport, just as casual as you please.
Do not record this. Do not record this.
Actually, I have phone in the There's a naked guy in the airport. Yes, there is. My man.
My man.
He's like, the guy's just, casual as can be walking through. It's fine in the airport. Don't do it on the plane.
My man. No, that was Dallas-Fort Worth. It was not Nashville.
Okay.
That's right.
Down south.
That's
right. I'm not.
Something about it. Texas, something about that reminded me of home for some reason. So I was thinking Nashville. What are you going to do? Hey, but if you're interested in getting your clothes off, not in flight, but let's say, I don't know, wedding night, big night for people to disrobe. How about the wedding itself? There is a beach on the island of Sardinia. Sardinia is an island off the west coast of Italy. Right there in the Mediterranean. And there is a specific beach that is now opening up. It's called Venice Beach, Benas. They are now allowing nude weddings on the beach.
I don't want to. Okay. I mean, weddings.
Nude weddings.
Everybody's got to be nude. Everyone's nude, or just the bride and groom and the wedding party. They're the only nude ones. I guess it's
all the typical.
Optional.
It's all the typical. Verbiage. One of the people behind this is saying nudity has nothing to do with sex. For us naturists, it's a philosophy of life. It's linked to nature, and it should be respected. This beach, this place that lends itself brilliantly to naturism, and we thought, how about a beach for nude? No, you know what you are? You're just horny. You're just a horn dog, and you just want naked people around. It's that simple.
Yeah, and no one respects you more, thinks more highly of you, like you're a more enlightened human being, because you know what? It's not about being horny for us. Well, I'm sorry that it's not. I don't know what gets you going then. What gets you all fired up if seeing the sex that you're attracted to naked doesn't get the job done? For us, it's still fun. It's still something, for a special occasion.
If I just want to be there when someone goes, now, if anyone here has any objections and a guy steps out, rock hard erection, I'd like to say one thing before this woman makes the biggest mistake of her life.
How do you handle the dollar dance?
I tell you what, you know what? They say speak now or forever hold your peace. It's a different spelling of the word peace, but yeah.
Oh, worse than the dollar dance. How about the daddy-daughter dance?
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, you got to come out and dance with your daughter naked.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. I have to hold it forever, literally? I mean, what when I put my clothes back on?
Yeah.
All right, let go of that piece and tell me what's on your mind, son.
I was busted for that just the other day in public, but I had clothes on. She's like, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm not doing anything. She goes, you're literally holding your balls right now
adjusting.
In public.
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't even adjusting. I was like, I guess they are just sort of cupping right there. I didn't notice. Must have been a security thing. I don't know. But, yeah, maybe I would be worried that she'd, on the way down the aisle go, wait a second, is that one available? Hanging between his legs? I'll take that one. You don't want her to see something better on the way to the altar,
It's very, very true. Rolling Stone listed the 50 greatest Canadian artists of all time. 50, which and I looked at all 50, and I've heard of about half of them. There's a lot of pop artists, a lot of even rock artists from the past where I was just like, I'm sorry, who? By the way, Nickelback not on the top 50. Nickelback. Now, say what you want about Nickelback. That's a big ass band.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of hits.
I mean, when your own country is Canada and they're embarrassed of you. What does that say about your band? It's
not a good thing. Number 50 is someone named Snow. Again, no idea.
He had one hit, and then he ran into some controversy, some story of abuse or something.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it didn't end well.
Well, then that's enough. That's all I need to know.
You don't want to know about Snow.
Martha and the Muffins from 1984. Sorry, missed it. Terry Clark. Heard of her, country singer. April Wine at number 47. Are you kidding? That's all they could get? Number 47? They had some big hits.
Yeah.
April Wine. I think they're from like Nova Scotia. So the fact that they even got anything done is a miracle. I mean, there's just not much happening over there. I'm impressed anybody could figure out how to plug something in. Bare Naked Ladies. Okay, how about this? Death from Above 1979. Anybody ever heard of that band?
No.
I don't think they're kidding around with a name like that.
No.
Peaches, that's a pop artist I've never heard of.
Nope.
Metric, never heard of.
No.
Katie Lang, okay, got it, done. Party Next Door, Clueless. DOA, Alicia Cara, my daughter likes her. Broken Social Scene, okay, working too hard for the name? No, never heard of you. Nelly Furtado. This is crazy. So, all right, Anne Murray's in the 30s somewhere. Yeah, exactly. This is how I know this list is because, I always say, Rolling Stone does these lists just to piss me off and just to give us something to argue about. Because you start looking down. I'm like, number 14's Carly Rae Jepsen, who had Call Me Maybe, one song. Stop. All right, here we go. Let's get down to the brass tacks. Number 11, Gordon Lightfoot. If Gordo's not in your top 10, stop. Come on. Sundown? Alone.
I mean, I guess I've got to know the top 10, because Gordo, he'd be up there. Top 5, I would think.
That's why I did that. He's number 11, so here is who he's on the outside looking in at. Number 10, Celine Dion.
Suck.
Yeah, I mean, great singer, sure.
Yeah,
but ever I saw the behind the music, I knew she was the most talented woman I'd ever seen, even though she was 11. That manager, creepy ass, that was weird, man. I'm sorry. I mortgaged my house for her. We never kissed until she turned 18, which means they kissed when she was 11.
Of course.
That's the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Alanis Morissette, number 9. Okay, I mean, she's huge. Big.
Yeah.
The Weeknd, really number 8. The Weeknd.
Kind of a big deal, yeah.
Shania Twain, number 7.
Used to be.
Sure, country.
Okay, this one I got a beef with. Number 6, The Band.
No, number 6, really?
Number 6. Now, I mean, they're 4/5 Canadian. I mean, Levon's obviously from Arkansas. 4/5 Canadian. How can they be number 6 when number 5 is Drake?
No.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, Rolling Stone. They're just trying to get people fired up. They don't
and it's working.
No better.
It just pisses me off. Yeah. Leonard Cohen, number 4.
Yeah.
Granted, number 3.
Had that one song.
He had that one. That's all you need when it's the right one.
It's a pretty good one.
Let's see. Number 3, a little band called Rush. Okay, that totally checks out.
Yep.
But I'm sitting here going out, and I'm looking at the list, and then I'm still in my head. I'm like going, well, come on, that's ridiculous. Who? And then I go, oh, Neil Young. Yeah, okay, that works. He's number 2. Been in California so long, it's easy to forget. And then I'm reading, well, then who's better than Neil Young? And then they got Joni Mitchell number 1. Which fan of Joni Mitchell? But stop. Come on, stop.
Bryan Adams isn't in the top 10, huh?
Boy, you know what? Let me scroll back and see where old BA is, because I didn't come across him in the quick.
A big hit.
Arcade Fire, Tegan and Sarah, the new Justin Bieber, Tragically Hip, Hank Snow. He's not in the top 20.
How about Bob and Doug McKenzie?
But you know what? Yeah.
Or the Happy Wanderers.
Bryan Adams, number 30.
All right.
Number 30.
All right. Well, there you have it.
Kids had a run.
When was the last time Rolling Stone did anything that was relevant?
It's been a minute. But like I said, and I'm the guy who goes, I'm not going to look at that list. It'll just piss me off. And now I'm pissed off. I'm just looking at it. What the hell's wrong with you? How in the world do you have Drake number 5?
I suppose if you just look at the Rolling Stone list, and if you just look at the Rolling Stone lists, and go, oh, okay, yeah, that checks. That makes sense. Then you're probably not likely to check them out again. So, yeah, they probably just want to whip it up, get everybody all fired up.
Yeah, again, they know what they're doing. They got my number, and every time it pisses me off. Let's look back. It is May 29th. On this day in 1985, a horrible day in the world of soccer in Europe. The European Championship game, the cup final, Liverpool playing Juventus from Italy. The game was actually held in Brussels, Belgium. And before the game, the fans, the supporters, the hooligans from Liverpool attacked a bunch of Juventus fans, and a part of the stadium collapsed. There was a huge crush. 600 people injured, 39 killed. I mean, can you imagine the scene? And it was being broadcast live. And there's about a 55-minute YouTube clip of just British announcers just saying, we can't believe the sights we're seeing here. And now word is 7 deaths. Oh, we've got an update, 11 deaths. And they're just on the air talking about it. This went a long way towards reforming the hooligan culture of European, but most importantly, British football. British football fans were not allowed to go to games in Europe for 5 years. European clubs, the teams themselves were banned from international competition for 5 years. A really completely insane thing. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, they went ahead and played the game.
Oh.
And Juventus won 1-0. Yeah, they were not kidding. If you want to get any insight, you don't have to care at all about soccer. But I will say this sincerely. One of the most incredibly impactful, riveting, and nauseating books you can ever read is called Among the Thugs. It's an American writer who moved to Manchester United and started running around with a bunch of soccer thugs in the mid-'80s from Manchester United fans. And he was at that game. He's at European games with Man United fans, just street fighting fans from other teams. That's what they did. It's one of the most engrossing and most bizarre subculture things you could ever read. Among the Thugs. Seriously, just don't do what I do. Don't read it on vacation at the beach.
All right.
Sounds
I'm going to wait for the movie.
Completely ruin your experience. Among the Thugs, the experience and seduction of crowd violence. That's the subtitle. I'm telling you, though, it is an incredible read. On this day in 2001, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that disabled golfer Casey Martin could use a cart to ride in tournaments. Remember that? Guy on the PGA Tour, he could barely walk, and he would sit in a cart, and he would swing around and from a sitting position hit the golf ball.
Amazing.
It's funny.
And the PGA fought hard to keep him off the tour. They're like, everyone else has to walk and carry their or walk the course, not carry their clubs. Why should he have the advantage? He can't walk. He's hitting from a chair. Relax.
Yeah, where's the advantage?
Never won a tournament. He was just good enough to be out there. Golfers. Can't believe I'm one of them sometimes.
Get the KQ Morning Show podcast wherever you listen. 92 KQRS.